What's up, guys? So, tonight's video is going to be all about quitting porn and really changing your life for the better. And this habit and addiction is the habit, the bad habit that is going to change your life for the better. Um, I want to say that when I first started my self-improvement journey, which was probably about a couple years ago, this was the number one thing that I first started learning about was NoFap and quitting porn and really the negativities that porn has on your life and your dopamine levels and your motivation. So it has helped me a lot. And so that is why I want to shed a little bit of light on my story and how it can help you guys. So, if you really do want to start making a change and you want to start implementing good habits, this is one of the main habits that you can't avoid. You could have a great diet, you can have great physique, get good sleep, you can have all these good habits that you're doing. You can meditate, all this stuff. But if you're still watching porn and masturbating, then all of these benefits, all of these good habits are just not going to be worth it. Porn, the negativities of porn are just going to outweigh anything good that you're doing for your life, and it is that serious. So, the main problem with porn is how it makes you view the world. So, I don't know if you've ever heard of the term porn brain, and this is sort of where your dopamine levels have lowered to a point where you have brain fog, you're less motivated, and you're sort of swimming against the current. Even having to do tasks like brushing your teeth or fucking getting up, waking up early, everything's just like, oh my God. Because you just have no motivation to do anything because all you want to do is get that spike of dopamine by watching porn, and your overall like motivation is just lower. So that is one main problem. Another main problem of porn is how it affects your psyche and just your overall like being. So naturally, if you're watching porn on a regular basis, then you're going to feel like a cuck. You're watching other dudes fuck these girls, and you just wish that you're in that position, and just think of what this is doing to your psyche. Like, say you busted and you just kind of take an overview of what you just did. You literally just busted to another dude fucking this girl, and it's just going to lower your self confidence because it makes you in this like wishful, lustful position, and it just puts you in this bad mindset. So, if you don't want to be a cuck, then quitting porn is going to be very helpful with that. Um, Another problem with porn is that the way you view women is just it goes down. It gets bad. So say you see like a very beautiful woman and you've been watching porn consistently and you see all these like pretty women and stuff. Um, like when you see a beautiful woman in person, you just think like you just think like very lustful. You're like, wow, like what if? And you just think like you just have these fantasies about this woman, and you just get in this like monkey weird animal mode where it's like you're not even like viewing her as a person. You're literally just like viewing her as an object, which is just not good. So, yeah, in general, you'll have a worse outlook on women and you'll be more lustful and you'll look at their body parts and you'll just have more fantasies in general. Um, so I'm just gonna relate this to a story. So this was actually about a year ago, so not too long ago. And at this point, I was aware of NoFap and I was aware of all the benefits, but I was watching porn way less, and I knew it was bad for me, but I don't know what happened. I was overwhelmed by work. I was making cold calls all day. I was stressed out, feeling low confidence, and a thought just popped in my head. My roommate was gone for the weekend, and I had the place to myself. So I had the thought, what if I just use the living room to beat my meat and play it on the big screen? And we had pizza that day at work. And so I'd eaten pizza. I have bad food in my system. And I just have this thought like, what if I play porn on the big screen? So I just kind of fantasize about that a little bit as a highlight of my Friday night. So anyways, I get off work and think about it a little more, and I'm like still kind of stressed out. I didn't make any sales that day. My confidence was low. And so just I feel like shit. And so I'm like, okay, what if, like it won't be too bad. It's a Friday night. I have the whole weekend. And so I got home, fucking dropped the pizza, and I closed the blinds and fucking plop. And there I was, fucking laying like a fucking goblin in the dark, just a pool full of shame. And my breathing was probably like similar to a dead man, just fucking slouched over, laying sideways. And just think about that, like what that does to your confidence. You know, you just you just busted to fucking thinking that you were in that position. No, you're on your fucking couch, slouched over, breathing like a fool, and you were wishing you were in that position. So, yeah. Anyways, that was the highlight of my Friday night. And afterwards, I probably just felt like shit. I was like, "Oh my God, like what did I just do?" And had the blinds closed. The sun was still out. It was like 5:30, and that's what I did. That's how I chose to spend my Friday night. Um, the next morning comes, and I have this like pool of shame. I'm like feel like shit, and then the next morning comes, and I'm like fantasizing. I'm like, oh, I feel like shit. So I get these thoughts in my head. I'm like, how can I make myself feel better? How can I make myself feel better? Oh, can I do this? Can I do that? Can I drink more coffee? I need some type of stimulation. So I got the thought in my head again, like, well, I already I already relapsed once, so why not relapse one more time? And I mean, it won't be too bad because I already did it. So, you know, as long as I don't watch it too much. And there my lizard brain was again, convincing me to fucking do it again. Next thing I know, it's 10 o'clock, beat my meat again, and now I'm just in zombie mode for the day. Checked out, haven't gotten really anything done. I mean, yeah, it's a Saturday, but which that's another story, but I don't really care about weekends. But anyways, didn't get shit done. Just felt like a goblin and I was in brain fog in a funk state. My brain is fried. And I forgot to mention, but I have a call coming up at 12 p.m. Yesterday or the day before that that Saturday, the day before that Saturday, I had promised this guy that I'd give him a call on Saturday because it would work better for him. And so I had a sales call coming up at 12 a.m. And this was my state of mind. Just a straight zombie goblin. So, guess how that sales call went? It was bad. It's pretty bad. I mean, I don't know how I sounded, what I really said, but it was it was pretty bad. And anyways, how do you think that made me feel coming into that next week that I had to talk to people all week, cold call all week after I just beat my meat Friday night like that and Saturday and just had a shit sales call, was stressed out the week before, and to relieve my stress, I fucking beat my meat like a zombie goblin. And yeah, so that next week, I was just low energy, didn't feel like doing anything because I had porn brain. And it was a shit week. So that's sort of how the next couple weeks went at State Farm. And guess what? I got fired from State Farm. And I personally attribute it to me watching porn and just the shame and the lack of confidence I had. So I felt like that carried into my work and it didn't allow me to sell well. It didn't allow me to communicate to people well because I didn't really have any motivation. I didn't really like care to do well. And so I got fired and everybody said, "Oh, that you were new. You never knew anything about sales and it was your boss. He's a cheapskate, bad agent, whatever." But the real truth is that I didn't do a good job at sales and I didn't make sales. And so that's the reason I got fired. Not because he was a bad boss, because I didn't get trained well. None of that bullshit. It's because I gave in to my short-term temptations and I just felt in a shameful, guilty, non-confident cuck not wanting to pursue my goals type of mode. And that compounded into the next couple weeks. And I didn't make sales. So I got fired. So that's really what can happen if you can get fired from your job. And it is that serious. Um, but anyways, I have seen some great benefits from quitting porn. And I'm not gonna act like I haven't beat my meat in, a long ass time, because I have, but it's been a lot less. So I'd say if you were to take a look back at 2023 to 2024, I mean it was a handful of times. No more than that, and which is good because that was a lot less than the year before. So I had made progress, and I am continually making progress. And where I'm at now is I identify as a guy who doesn't watch porn, which I can safely say that, and I am confident to say that because I know it's bad for me. I'm not a guy who's on NoFap. I'm a guy who doesn't watch porn. I'm a guy who doesn't participate in that. I just I don't do it. Like it has no benefit for me. So there is a difference when you say you're on NoFap because there's this whole community of people who have NoFap streaks, and you're basically just a guy who's trying to quit porn instead of a guy who just doesn't do it. So really it's about your identity and how you view it. So I'm getting a little bit off track here, but I'll get back to a little bit about your identity and how that will really help you quit. But first, I do want to talk about the benefits that you can see by staying away from porn and being on NoFap. So the first thing is you're going to get your brain cleared up, and things are just going to be more clear. You're going to be able to communicate better. You're just naturally going to be more present. You're not going to be participating in things that are as highly stimulating. You'll have more attention, and your conversations are just going to be generally better. Your anxiety is going to be down. And so just imagine that you get all these benefits, and now these benefits compound into even more benefits. You're more present in conversations. You can look people in the eyes, and now you get more opportunities. So, say you're talking to your boss about something, you have a better conversation with your boss about something. Now he sees that you're a present person, and so he thinks you're a confident person, and so now down the road, you may get a promotion from that. So it's compounding benefits. Um, those are the main benefits, and some other crazy ones that I've experienced myself are you just look at women differently in a more healthy manner. Like if you see a hot girl, you're not gonna be like, oh my God, wow, and just start drooling and shit. You see her and you're like, she's pretty she's pretty beautiful, but I mean, you don't like stare at her body parts. You just kind of appreciate it and see her as a person, as a beautiful person. So that's a very healthy way to look at it, and I'm proud of that. You just have less shame and guilt in your system. You're just generally more proud of yourself, and you're just generally less lustful. You're able to cut your lust off. Like if you start fantasizing and you just become more aware of your lustful thoughts. And so, like I said, all of this stuff will compound. You're going to be more focused on your work. You're going to be more present in work. You're going to be more present in conversations. Learning is not going to feel as hard. You're going to be more interested in learning because you don't need a bunch of stimulation. Like talking right now is stimulating enough for me. Reading is stimulating enough for me. So these are incredible benefits by staying off of porn. And it's porn alone that can give you these benefits. I mean, you can work out every day, you can sleep well, you can eat healthy, but if you're still a chronic wanker, then you're gonna have brain fog. You're not gonna be present in conversations, and you're just not gonna be able to focus. So these are what you can expect if you do take this route. So if you want to quit yourself, the real goal is to not be so hard on yourself when you do relapse. You know, just understand that when you quit, you're probably going to do it again. When you quit, it's not going to be quit and then you're done forever. No, when you quit, you're probably going to get come back to it at some point because you've been addicted. You've been addicted for a while. So just be more realistic in your goal. When you quit, it's a commitment to the long term. Over the next 30 years of my life, the first year or two, I may still relapse, but these 2 years compared to the last 10 years of me watching porn, it's going to be less. It's going to be less frequent as well. It's going to be less, um, like when you're actually watching it, the time frame is going to be shortened. And so naturally, it's just going to trend downward. Yeah, you may relapse, which is bad. It's bad when you relapse, but you're going to be doing it less. And the time frame from when you quit and then you relapse, it's just naturally going to get further and further until you get to a point where you're like, I don't really need it anymore. I don't really feel that addicted. I feel like I can control myself and I feel like I can stay away. So it has taken me personally, I'd say, like I said, 2.5 years of trial and error and of watching porn less to where I can confidently say I may relapse again, but it's gonna be a while. It's gonna be a long time before I watch porn again. Just because I know over these 2 years I've seen the benefits and I've also experienced the negatives. I know the difference of the positives you could get out of it versus the negatives, and the positives are so much better. So just me knowing this over these past couple years, it just motivates me even more to stay away from it. And naturally, I'm just gonna watch porn less. So that is the main tip I would say is to stop being so hard on yourself when you do relapse. Just understand that it's probably gonna happen again. And when it does happen, just it's not the end of the world. It's bad. You're going to see some negativity enter your life again when you watch porn again. And you have to understand that, but don't make that as an excuse to just give up quitting porn. Keep on trying. Don't ever, like I said, it's a long-term thing. Set it for 30 years out. The first couple years that I am trying to quit porn, yes, I may still be relapsing here and there, but the amount of times that I do it are going to go down. So that is what I would say, and it's where I'm at, and it's what I would personally recommend for you. Um, if you got any value out of this, then like and subscribe and share it to a friend. So I appreciate you watching and have a good ass night.